Hello, it has been not too long since my last video, and let's just say that since then the hunters have been smashing it. Guardian Games has been going pretty well for the hunter peeps, and to the warlocks, I'm sorry. I wish I could change things just a little bit, but things aren't looking too hot for y'all. Alright, now real quick, right before we get into today's video, if you have any questions or concerns with the build or the setup as the video progresses, or if you have any setups in particular that you want me to try out for a future video, then feel free to comment it down below. It really helps me out because it pushes the algorithm to others who watch Destiny build videos, and I would really appreciate it. Anyways, for today's video, we are going to be using the Jotunn once again, but for Hunter this time, and we are going to be pairing it up with the Ophidius Spaith. I hope I'm saying that right. Now, this isn't just some random combination that I wanted to use, or that I thought is godly. There's actually two suggestions that I have from two of my previous videos. One of them is from a good sir Diego, and the other one is from the Mad Lad Noodles, who asked me to use the Ophidius Spaith. Now, he had some mods listed for me to use, but I changed it up just a little bit, but you can mix and match as you choose to, depending on what your preferences are. Anyway, let's actually carry on with the build. So, first things first, I will go over the exotic, the Ophidius Spaith. So, what this does, it just gives us 2 knives per charge. Whenever we get 1 knife charge, or 1 knife charge if we use both of them, it will grant us both of them. So, it's not 2 separate charges like it is for the Armamentarium with Titans and their grenades. It's just 1 singular charge that gives you 2. Now, with the Ophidius Spaith, we're basically always going to have our knives, and we're going to be using it with Middle Tree Solar, which further increases our ability to throw tons of knives as we so choose, due to Knife Trick. Now, the main thing to note with this setup is Burning Edge along with Playing with Fire. Playing with Fire, destroying burning enemies recharges Knife Trick more quickly. This isn't just the burn from Knife Trick, it can be burned from anything in the game, such as the Burning Cells mod from Warmind Cells, or even the Sunshot burn, or Prometheus Lens, any type of burn. And Burning Edge is while enemies burn, your dodge ability recharges faster. This is where the burning effect actually comes into play from anything in the game. The burning recharges our dodge, as well as recharges our Knife Trick very rapidly, and at the same time, while it recharges our dodge will then grant us our knives back as well, due to Gambler's Dodge. So we'll always have that source of ad clear when it comes to our melee ability. Next up, the reason why we're using the Jotunn, it's the Jotunn. The Jotunn's good, it's solar, it mixes with the mods that we're using within this build, and it's just too damn fun to not use. You can mix and match the Jotunn as you please, but for me personally, I don't mind using the Jotunn. It's a great source of ad clear, and it deals with major targets pretty easily. When it comes to the other 2 weapons, they can be whatever you want. I, for one, mix and match the primary depending on what I need for the activity that I'm running, especially for Lost Sectors and Grandmasters, because for those you need to mix and match for barriers, overloads, unstoppables, and such. So mix and match as you please when it comes to the primary. When it comes to the heavy, most of the time I try to run something solar damage oriented like the Cloudoa, just because we're using Warmind Cells and Wrath of Rasputin, so having that solar damage is something that I would recommend. Moving on to stats. For stats, I am running 100 mobility as well as 100 strength. I'm not really sure this is necessary at all, but I thought it looked pretty and I'm able to do it. I'm able to get double 100 stats, so this is what I'm rocking. Honestly, just because you're using the Ophidius Spaith, I don't really think using 100 strength is really necessary at all. Instead, you could probably spec this into intellect or even resilience or recovery if you really want, but that is 100% up to you. I would probably put it into recovery and at least get 5 resilience or 6 resilience. And last but not least, moving on to mods. So the first thing that I want to note is actually using Wrath of Rasputin, as well as the second Warmind Cell mod that we are going to be using. So first off, Wrath of Rasputin, what it does, solar splash damage, final blows have a chance to create Warmind Cells. So our Jotunn as well as our rocket launcher can spawn Warmind Cells, our grenade can spawn Warmind Cells, and just any type of solar splash damage can spawn the Warmind Cells. I don't believe the Knife Trick can spawn them though. But what our Knife Trick will help is actually getting us our grenade back so that our grenade has a chance to spawn the Warmind Cells for us, which is where Impact Induction comes into play, which is causing damage with your melee attack, reduces your grenade cooldown. Although the main drawback about using Impact Induction is that you can't use any of these mods. In best case scenario, you'll have Unstoppable as well as Barrier or Overload, and you'll only have to use 1 mod for whatever activity you're using, like using Anti-Barrier as your 1 slot or using an Overload as your 1 slot, because our Unstoppable we're going to be taking care of with Inferno Whip, which is solar melee abilities, can stagger Unstoppable champions, but I digress. Anyway, moving back to the Warmind Cells. So, Wrath of Rasputin, solar splash damage. The second Warmind Cell that we're going to be using is actually Global Reach, which just makes the Warmind Cells a tactical tactical nuke. It's going to be doing massive AoE damage, and the distance in which it does its damage is going to be greatly amplified. Now, one thing that I will say is that global reach is not a necessity at all. One thing that you can change global reach for is actually burning cells. In fact, I would highly recommend switching it for burning cells, just because it pairs very nicely with middle tree solar on Hunter. But that is 100% up to you once again. Running all three of those Warmind cells wouldn't be a bad idea either. Wrath of Rasputin, global reach, and burning cells. Moving on, the actual charge of light mods that we're going to be using. First off, heavy-handed. This is what's going to be consuming our charge of light stacks, and it's going to be regaining half of our melee energy whenever we use a charged melee ability. Now, we're not really using this for its main perk. While it's not bad at all, we are going to be actually using heavy-handed for its secondary perk, which is while surrounded by multiple combatants, defeating a combatant with a fusion rifle, shotgun, sidearm, or submachine gun adds ammo for that weapon to your reserves. So this is primarily for our Jotunn. If you don't really care about getting special ammo for your Jotunn constantly, then heavy-handed is not needed at all, and you can run something else if you really want. In order to actually get us those charge of light stacks, however, we are going to be using quick charge, which is become charge of light by rapidly defeating multiple combatants with a fusion rifle or shotgun. Its secondary perk is pretty nice, but I'm not sure how effective it actually is. And last but not least, we are also using charged up, which just grants us one extra stack of charge with light capability. It's not needed at all, but it's what I'm using, and I didn't really need to use any other charge of light mod, so this is what we have. In fact, actually, I should probably switch this out for burning cells. Problem solved. And last but not least, the one mod that I didn't go over is gain bonus super energy on melee kills. This is pretty useful considering we always have a charged melee ability up. Your knife trick should be constantly up due to the amount of burning that you have within this setup. So having hands on is quite nice. Quite nice. All right, and with that, that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully, I can get another video out really soon. It's most likely going to be another Hunter build, or it's going to be another Titan one. Warlocks, I'm sorry, it most likely won't be another Warlock one. If it is though, pleasant surprise, right? But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Remember, I love you all, and thank you for your support. All right, peace.